Okay, Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin. Uh, we were discussing, the course was about Islamic sciences, and we were discussing Islamic theology. And we discussed many aspects and many important um, dimensions of Islamic theology. And we will also, inshallah, after theology, we will discuss jurisprudential aspect of Islam, uh, ethical aspect of Islam, and mystical aspect of Islam. So, in the beginning of our sessions, I mentioned that theology is related to our basic structure of Islamic thought. And after completing this very small introduction of Islamic theology, so our learning objectives will be to be able to distinguish theological issues from ethical issues and from jurisprudential issues. Because sometimes when we are listening speeches or we are attending majalis, we are not able to understand exactly Islamic thought. The reason is we don't know whether speaker is talking about theology, talking about our set of beliefs, or talking about ethical or moral issue. So it is very important for us to really understand what is theology and what is ethics and what is jurisprudential aspect. Then we will have better understanding and we will have better approach about Islam and Islamic thought. Second thing, we discussed about the theology, that it can give you a power to defend yourself. Once you have completed theological issues, and then you know the meaning of theology, and then you know the contents being discussed in theology, then you will have this power to really defend yourself. For example, someone is questioning you about your aqaid, about your belief system, then you will have reasoning, you will have logical power to defend yourself, to explain your belief system. And at the same time, if we are Muslim, if we are, for example, mu'min, then it is required and highly recommended that we need to have marifat, we need to have awareness that why we are believing this or that. So this is why theology is extremely important for us. And taqleed is also haram in theology. Why taqleed is haram in theology? Because you have to understand yourself. You cannot imitate anyone. You cannot do taqleed to anyone. For example, even Ayatollah Sistani is saying that God is existing. So you are not supposed to taqleed him. So this is why theology is extremely important, and it will also strengthen your faith. So you will know that what are the logical grounds of your belief system. And this is why you know that our youth, when you have an interaction with social media, and people are there who are questioning you, who are asking you questions, criticizing you, your faith, your belief system, even Islam and Islamic thoughts. So they can cast doubt on your Islamic thought. So if you have theological basis, then you can defend yourself, then you can strengthen yourself, then you can empower yourself. So this is another thing that which is very important for us. And you will have support of reasoning. And yeah, so in the beginning, the definition we had, definition of theology was, it is a science which studies the basic doctrines of the Islamic faith, which is called usule deen. And it identifies the basic doctrines and seeks to prove their validity and answers any doubts which may be cast upon them. So validity is very important. For example, my parents are Muslim and they are teaching me about the basic belief system. And then uh, this is not enough for me that, okay, so my environment was Islamic, my parents were Muslim. But important is we need validation. We need validation from our intellectual aspect, from our logical aspect. Logically, we need to have awareness about that. So validity and then doubts are there. So this is what we learn from theology, and these are our learning objectives, and these are very, very important aspects. A third thing that we discussed, that there are various schools of ilm kalam. So we are studying ilm kalam, which is theology, and Muslims, they already differed from each other in fiqh and in theology, specifically in these two areas. So in fiqh, you know that we have four uh, schools in Sunni uh, mazhab, and then we have like Shafi, Hanbali, we have Maliki, and we have Hanafi, and the fifth one is we have Jafari. So at least these five schools are there. And in Ilme Kalam, we mentioned that there are again some schools. In Ahl Sunnat, we have Mu'tazila. It's little bit seems weird or difficult to understand, but it's okay to memorize the name Mu'tazila. So Mu'tazila was very strong school of thought. And then Asha'ira, and they are also from Ahl Sunnah. And then we have Shia, we have Ismaili, we have Khawarij, we have several schools in theology as well. So we started our discussion from Mu'tazila, and we in our last session we discussed that Mu'tazila, they have five basic tenets. They have five basic principles and belief system. One is Tawheed, oneness of God. Tawheed is very important for all Muslims. So Mu'tazila, they also have Tawheed. And then justice, divine justice, that God is not oppressor, God is just. So justice of God and divine justice is the second belief system of Mu'tazila. And then we have divine retribution. Third belief system or principle of usul of Mu'tazila is divine retribution or divine punishment. If we are doing something good, Allah will give us reward. And if we are doing something wrong, we will be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we have manzil bainal manzilain. So we are in between two destinations. We are in between two positions. So which are these two positions? A position between, for example, so this means that fasiq, one who commits one of the greater sins. So according to Mu'tazila, if you have for example, you are committing major sin, like you are drinker or you are adulterer or you are liar. So these are major sins. So if you are committing major sin, then you are in between you will be fasik, you will be infidel, or you will be in between the kafir and mu'min. You are neither mu'min and nor you are kafir. So this is just in between you. You cannot call yourself that you are Muslim or you are mu'min, because you are committing major sins. And then, but we are not going to say you, Mu'tazila say, that we are not going to say you that you are kafir also, unless you are seeking repentance, you are asking for tawbah. So once you have done tawbah, then then you will become again mu'min. So we discussed these things last time, and now so I am again going to share the screen, and we will read this text, uh, which is extremely important in today's lecture. So we will start from the doctrine of at-Tawheed. Exactly what is the meaning of Tawheed? Why Ayatollah Mutahari says that why I started this from Mu'tazila. He says that I will explain it at later stage, that why we started this from Mu'tazila, and we are discussing the belief system of first Sunni school of thought, which is from theology, and they are Mu'tazila. And if we have better understanding about their set of beliefs or belief system, then we can better understand our own aqaid. Being a Shia or being a follower of Ahl Bayt, you will better understand your own belief system when you have understood well the doctrine of Mu'tazila. So this is why we are going to start from there. And lot of commonalities and lot of similarities are also there between Mu'tazila and Shia, because they are also very intellectual, and Shias are also very intellectual. They also have deep philosophy, uh, and they believe in the philosophy. They believe in the logical argument, whatever you are believing. And Shias are also, they believe and they have their own philosophy, and they always appreciate and welcome logical arguments. If someone is going to ask any logical question or questioning you, so this is why we have a lot of similarities, and it is important for us to know the doctrines of Mu'tazila. So first thing is a Tawheed. What is the meaning of Tawheed? Ayatollah Mutari says, beginning with Tawheed, it has various kind and levels. So Tawheed has different levels and different stages. Now, this is very interesting and very important for our youth, for our uh, Muslims, for Mominin, to really understand the different kinds and types and levels of Tawheed or oneness of God. First thing is, first level or first aspect is a Tawheed az-Zati, unity of the essence. At-Tawheed as-Sifati. This is the second, unity of attribute or with the essence. The third is At-Tawheed al-Af'ali, the unity of acts, and At-Tawheed al-Ibadi, monotheism in worship. So you will see that we have four kind of Tawheed. When we talk oneness of God, that God is one, so it means that we need to understand exactly how we are interpreting the oneness of God, because there are four kinds. So all four kinds are related to Tawheed. And if we are not able to understand this, these four types or kinds, we cannot even understand the kalima tayyibah, la ilaha illallah. So in order to understand this in the deeper level, we need to understand about Tawheed, and these are four levels. So first is a Tawheed az-Zati. Tawheed az-Zati, before just reading this one, I want to just give you the example of ordinary human being. As a human being, you know that we have our personality, we have our essence, we say it, our zat, and we have our qualities. For example, you have knowledge, you have power, you have life. So you have lot of qualities, and you understand that your qualities are different from your essence. Your knowledge is different from your existence. So this is why, first of all, we need to separate all these aspects from each other in order to understand these four kinds of Tawheed. So we understand ourselves that we have Zat, we have essence. Second, we have some qualities. Third thing that we can mention in ourselves, that we have also actions. Sometimes we are always doing something. Whenever we are acting upon something, we have actions, we have amal. So it means the third aspect is action. So Tawheed is also, first three kinds of Tawheed mean Tawheed in essence, Tawheed in attributes and qualities, and Tawheed in, we say it, in actions. And the fourth is Tawheed in Ibadat. So we don't have this example in human being, But always we see in the Quran, people would worship like Pharaoh. And for example, if you are worshipping sun, stars, trees, or anything that people were in the past, even they were worshipping or worshipping idols. So it means that we also have this understanding. But Tawheed in Ibadat means that only and only God deserves to be worshipped. Only we need to worship God alone. So this is what we are going to, inshallah, read today. And he says, now you can see here, it means that the divine essence. Now we are talking about Tawheed as Dati. Uh, it means that the divine essence is one and unique. It does not have a like or match. All other beings and God's creations and inferior to him in station and in degree of perfection. So anything other than God is inferior and in degree and in perfection. No one can be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why we have the Quranic verse, Laysa kamithlihi shay'un. And in Surah Tawheed, we also read, Walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. So these two verses are related to At-Tawheed Al-Dhati, divine essence. So he says, in fact, they cannot be compared with him. The idea of At-Tawheed Al-Dhati is made clear by the following two Quranic verses. Nothing is like him, laysa kamithlihi shay'un, and he does not have a match whatsoever. So this is also from Surah Tawheed, walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. So this was about Tawheed Ad-Dhati. And this is just very simple definition given by Ayatollah Mutari, and lot of details are there, but we are not going to discuss here because this is just introductory course and session. The second is a Tawheed as-Sifati. Now we are going to discuss Sifat. Sifat, you have understanding in Persian, in Arabic, and in Urdu. We use this term, which is Sifat, qualities or attributes. So, what is the meaning of a Tawheed as-Sifati? It means that the divine attributes, such as knowledge, like ilm, knowledge, power, like life, will, life mean hayat, will mean irada, and perception mean that you perceive something, hearing and vision, etc. So for example, you have the quality of hearing, you have a quality of seeing something, you have willpower, you have power, you have knowledge, you have life. So all these things are our qualities, and we have understanding about that. So we have these qualities, and Allah has also these qualities. So it means they are hearing, vision, etc. are not realities separate from God's essence. They are identical with the essence. You see that I have highlighted this one. I highlighted this because this aspect is very important. We have the same qualities, but we our qualities. For example, let's take only knowledge. Our knowledge is not identical with our essence. What does it mean? It means that knowledge is not part of my essence. Hayat, life, life is not part of my essence. Why? If knowledge was part of my essence, then I was knowledgeable from the day first. When I born, when I came into this world, so I must have been knowledgeable person. But I am not. I have to attain knowledge. I have to gain knowledge. I have to acquire it. I have to go to school. If I'm not going to school, if I'm not interacting with the external world, then I will not have this knowledge. So you can understand the difference between our qualities and qualities of God. But Allah, when we say Allah is knowledgeable, knowledge, this is one of the attributes of God. It means that ilm and knowledge is the part of his essence. It means that you cannot separate from each other. Similarly, life, if our life was part of my essence, so death should not be there. If I die, if my life is taken from me one day, so it means life was not part of my essence. It was in addition to my own personality. So similarly, but life is the part of the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why there is no death for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He is always alive, and this life will be forever. So this is the difference between uh, our qualities and qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, I will give another example so we will have better understanding. We uh, we have fire and we have understanding. So we know that fire and heat are always together. You cannot say that there is a fire and heat is not there. Hararat and heat is always there. So it means that we have fire and heat is inseparable. Thing we have with the fire. Similarly, we have qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot separate. It's part of His essence. The third we are going to discuss is again, he's saying the divine essence is such that the attributes are true of it, or is such that it manifests these attributes. I mean that, for example, your personality is sometimes manifesting your knowledge. So if you are very knowledgeable person, or if you are very pious person, if you are really muttaqi, you are parhezgar, you have piety, you are righteous person, you know, those who are really they are good people and they are noble people. So you see their face, you can understand this quality from their faces. You can say that this person seems knowledgeable, this person seems very noble. So similarly, if something is part of my essence, then it will be manifested. So this is why Ayatollah Mutari says that it manifests these attributes. The third thing is a Tawheed al-Af'ali. Now we have Tawheed al-Af'ali. It means that all beings, or rather all acts, even human acts, exist by the will of God and are in some way willed by His sacred essence. Now, the issue of Tawheed al-Af'ali, and you have understanding about the Af'al. Af'al means fail. This is a plural of fail. It means that you have actions in your life. So, what is the meaning of Tawheed al-Af'ali? And it is extremely important for us to really understand the meaning of Tawheed al-Afali, because lot of criticism is there about the concept of intercession, shafa'at. You know, from Wahhabis, they are questioning you that why you are saying Ya Ali Madad, why you are seeking their help, why you are seeking their assistance. So you are, so this is why it is extremely important to understand Tawheed al-Af'ali. So Tawheed al-Af'ali means that all beings, rather all acts, even human acts, exist by the will of God. For example, whatever we are doing as a human being, and whatever we see in the world, anything which is happening in the world, this is with the mashiyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if I am doing something wrong, if I am doing something evil, again it is not beyond the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah has given me the power to do something wrong. So power is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Tawheed Af'ali means that our action is also the action of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are, so these wordings are very important that I'm using. It means Tawheed Af'ali means that we are not independent. Sometimes, you know, those who have the qualities of Pharaoh or Pharaoh or Namrud, so they think that we are independent. And this is where we have the discussion of hidden shirk. So inshallah, we will discuss later on. But The meaning of Tawheed Afali mean that we are not independent. We are always depending on the power of and the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing in this world, even not only in our existence, if we are existing, if we are living, this is because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah wills this, Allah wants this. And if we are effecting something, so we have two aspects. One, we are existing, and second is we are affecting other people, and other people are affecting us. We are depending other people are depending on us. For example, if you are happy, so maybe I also become happy, or maybe I become sad, that why you are happy. If you are sad, maybe I also become sad, and I will also have the same grief, I will contribute this one. So it means that we are uh, we are not independent, we are dependent. So this is why in dependent in effect also, when we are affecting someone. So again, for example, I will give you a better example. Like we go to pharmacy, and in pharmacy we get the medicine, and we believe that there is an effect of medicine in my life, and then it will cure me, it will heal me if I am sick. But we say in Tawheed Af'ali that even the tasir and the effect of this medicine is the because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not independent. It is because God is absolute healer. And then because God is healer, he gave this power to this medicine to heal us and to cure us. And similarly, we have the system of cause and effect, and we have understanding that in this universe, everything is based on cause and effect. You cannot show me anything without cause. Everything has a cause. For example, if we are sitting here, we are attending this session, there is a cause behind this. Your cause can be internal, because you were committed, you wanted to learn this, you had the irada and willpower, and this is why you are sitting there. And so causes are always there, and there are external causes. So without cause, nothing is there. If cause is there, effect is also there. So uh, when we talk about Tawheed Af'ali, it means that even these causes are not affecting unless God is not giving them a power of effect. So they have this power to affect others. So causes and effects are also there. If fire is burning other things, so this is the effect of fire. But why fire is burning? Because God has given this tasir to fire. Now you have better understanding about the world. Now you will have better divine perception that how much it is important for us to get rid of uh, shirk and hidden shirk. That sometimes we think that I am independent, we think that other people are independent, we think that uh, other person can help me independently, and God is, for example, not involved in it. So this is what I just wanted to mention about Tawheed Af'ali. I give more explanation because it is extremely important. The last thing I am going to discuss about Tawheed al-Ibadi, and we will inshallah continue uh, our session. So in Tawheed al-Ibadi, which is the fourth one, it means that except God, no other being deserves worship and devotion. Worship of anything besides God is shirk and puts the worshipper outside the limits of Islamic Tawheed or monotheism. In a sense, a Tawheed al-Ibadi, mean worship, is different from other kinds of Tawheed because the first three relate to God and the kind relates to the creatures. First three, Tawheed al-Zati, Tawheed al-Sifati, Tawheed al-Af'ali, they were related to God. And now he's saying, in other words, the unity of divine essence, his uniqueness and the identity of essence and attributes, the unity of origin of everything, all of them are matters which relate to God. But the Tawheed in worship, the necessity of worshipping the one God relates to the behavior of the creatures. But in reality, Tawheed in worship is also related to God because it means uniqueness of God as the only deserving object of worship, and that He is in truth and one deity worthy of worship. So the statement La ilaha illallah, now you can better understand about La ilaha illallah, encompasses all aspect of Tawheed, although its first significance is monotheism in worship. This is very interesting aspect. I just want to explain. So when we say La ilaha illallah, uh, so La ilaha illallah comes to our mind that this is related to worship only. That Tawheed is there, Tawheed uluhiyya is there, Tawheed uluhiyya is there, Tawheed sifati is there, Tawheed afali is there, Tawheed ibadi is there. But he says, although its first signification is monotheism in worship, but apparently, initially, when we say La ilaha illallah, so it comes to our mind that this is related to worship only, that only Allah is worthy of worship. But in fact, all four Tawheed are there. Tawheed Zati is there when I say La ilaha illallah, when I believe in it, when I want to become Muslim, for example, and I have to recite Kalma Tayyaba, then I need to understand what I'm saying. Otherwise, the people are there and they are saying, okay, if you want to become Muslim, you should just say La ilaha illallah. So what does it mean when you are saying La ilaha illallah? When you don't have understanding about this, what you are saying about. So if you know that this is related to when I say La ilaha illallah, I see that oneness of God in His essence, oneness of God in His attributes, oneness of God in the actions, and oneness of God in the worships. So these four different Tawheeds are extremely important in our life to understand this one. And inshallah, we will continue this session, and then there are other details and explanation, inshallah, next week. Maybe in month of Ramadan, in later 15 days of month of Ramadan, we will not be able to continue this one because I have a lot of lectures in after 15th of Ramadan, and then after Ramadan, inshallah, we will continue this course. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your amal and ibadat. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi tayyibin at-tahirin al-masumin. So inshallah, take care and then see you after month of Ramadan.